Hey, it's Shane, and if you watched our recent video, then you probably already know that the Dart is coming back. So today I wanted to talk about the Dart, because not everyone's familiar with it. This might be our most controversial razor. Some loved it, some hated it, and there's a reason why it was the only razor that we have killed off so far. So today I'm going to kind of reintroduce you to the Dart. I'm going to tell the Dart story, what happened to it, and then we're going to give a little bit of a product highlight of the Dart at the end, kind of how it shaves and what you can look forward to when the Dart is released this fall. All right, so let's go back to 2018. Now, in 2018, Blackland was still a toddler. I was running it by myself out of my apartment in San Francisco. It was like, you know, 2 or 3 years old, and I was the only one there. We had the Blackbird, and that was a big hit. And the Saber had just come out, and the Saber Level 2 had come out, and that was doing pretty well. But it was clear to me that we needed another big success to really push Blackland to that next level. So maybe I could, move out of my apartment and stop having the business in our guest room. And I thought that the solution to this was make a product for the masses, something that is at a price that is, while still premium, something reasonable, something that's a good gift level. And I decided that 99 bucks was the right price, shipped. Why 99 bucks? I don't know. I didn't go to business school, but I thought that made sense to me. That seemed like a good price point. And so my thinking was, let's make a razor that is every bit as high quality, machined to the same standards, all stainless steel, as just like the Blackbird, but almost half the cost, 99 bucks. Where the Blackbird I think was selling for like 185 or something like that. And I don't know why I thought this, but I kind of thought, okay, if it's half the price, then more than twice as many people will buy it. Again, no MBA, so I'm just kind of making stuff up as I go. So that's what I wanted to do. So we set out to make what would eventually become the Dart. So I set out to design the Dart, a razor that would sell for 99 bucks. And this process is very different from how most of our razors are designed. Usually with like the Blackbird and the Vector and the Saber, we just try to make the coolest razor we can. We just make it cool as hell, and the price kind of falls where it may. We figure out the price, we figure out the business afterwards, basically. Again, I don't know if that's the best idea, but it's worked pretty well so far. But with the Dart, we wanted to specifically hit 99 bucks. That was kind of a price first product. Of course, it still had to shave well, still had to be made really well, but all within the confines of price of shipping for 99 bucks. And that meant that we had to design it to be super efficient for production. And that really had a big impact on the design of the Dart. And I think it actually worked for the better. I think that razor was still beautiful and came out really great. But you'll notice that like the top cap for the Dart is much smoother and simpler than the Blackbird. The base plate similarly doesn't have like the scallops on the safety bar the Blackbird has. Those take up a lot of machine time, so we had to cut those, smooth it out, and find a way to make it still really beautiful, but a lot simpler. We also had to give up on the tab and slot design for the blade post. The Blackbird has those, they're oblong, and that holds the blade a little better than the three-post design that we wound up going with the Dart, but a lot more expensive to machine. It's a lot easier to make 3 posts and 3 holes than it is to make those kind of long tabs and slots. So all those things were, all those design parts were made to optimize the production of the Dart. And then we also had to, make a bunch more of them. But for the design process, that was really interesting working hand in hand with the machinist to try to make sure that this thing is, able to be made. So we were able to figure it out. And of course, we 3D printed those first prototypes, and I got to shave with it, and it was awesome. I loved it. So I kept kind of, like always, dialing in the 3D print and making sure that it is as good as we can get it. And then we moved on to stainless steel samples. And when I got the samples, I was blown away when I first got to shave with them, like really, really blown away. And I loved the performance. I loved how smooth it was. I loved how it felt in the hand. I loved the blade feel. It seemed just right. It seemed smooth and efficient. And I love that thing. And if you can tell, I still love that thing. I think it's great. But at the time, I was really blown away with it. And we sent out samples to be tested by some people. Not a very big testing audience, and that's something that I'll touch on later from kind of lessons learned. But we had a few people, and they all their experiences mirrored mine. So that gave me all the confidence I needed, right? And I actually started to become worried about it. And here's why. The dart being great is actually a big problem because you don't want your dart to come in at 99 bucks and be way better than the Blackbird at 200 bucks. And that's what I thought was happening. I was actually worried that the dart was too good and too inexpensive, that it might knock off the older brother and take sales from there. And that was a big concern of mine. But what I, which is kind of funny looking back on it, because spoiler alert, that didn't happen. The Blackbird's still here and the dart isn't. And at the time, I was thinking, okay, well, this is a problem, but if the dart's better and it sells more, then that's not really a problem. And if the dart sells so well that the Blackbird just plummets, then we'll kill off the Blackbird. Not a problem. If there's anything that I believe in here at Blackland, it's that there's nothing sacred. And if something isn't working, if it's not carrying its weight, if something else we make supersedes it, then we'll just kill it off. There are no sacred cows. And it actually kind of reminds me of the Porsche 928. In the 70s, Porsche created the 928. And it was actually thought to be the replacement for the 911. They made this car and they thought it was so good. And they thought that the 911 was kind of older school and that things were moving in a new direction. And so Porsche was ready to kill off the 911 and put all of their focus behind the 928. And people really liked the 928, just like they liked the Dart, but people loved the 911, just like people loved the Blackbird. The 928, which was thought to be the replacement, died, and the old school one is still chugging today. And that's same for our razor here too, where I thought maybe the future is the Dart and the Blackbird might have to die, and things just didn't go that way. So now that Dart's coming back, I want to talk about the Dart for people who are new to it. So the Dart is a mid-aggressive, slightly blade forward razor with a more traditional shaving geometry than the Blackbird. This is a razor you can use at a lot of different angles. That makes it super versatile. And it's a razor that is really efficient. In my opinion, it's not particularly aggressive. It is just efficient. You get a little bit of blade feel. Some people, as you know now, found it to be more aggressive. I don't think that it really fits the bill for that. And here's why. Because the Dart can be used at so many different angles, it allows you to adjust the blade engagement. Now, blade engagement is just, how much the blade is contacting your skin. Kind of similar to blade feel, but it's the direct result of your angle, and it's a direct cause of how efficient the razor is. So when you have a lot of blade engagement, you're going to get a lot more hair removed. With the Dart, because it has such a wide angle, what we recommend doing is using the safety bar as a pivot point. And this is something we didn't make clear in the initial run of the Dart. And I think that was a big part of the lack of success it had, is that we weren't good at communicating that. But what you want to do is use the safety bar as your pivot point, because the safety bar against your skin, if you butt it up against skin like that, when you tilt the razor like this, you're going to force that blade into your skin more, increase the blade engagement, and that will give you more efficient shave. And if you drop the handle, tilt that back, you're going to pull the blade off the skin, decrease blade engagement, and that's going to give you a milder shave. And that's actually one of the super cool things about the Dart, is that you can adjust the aggressiveness and make it as efficient or as mild as you kind of want it to be. And I wish people understood that initially. But you understand it now, and that's what makes it awesome. So if you find the Dart to be a little too much for you, you just need to go to a steeper angle that's going to pull the blade off the skin. And those parts of your skin that you need maximum blade engagement, maximum efficiency, just go for a shallower angle, increase that blade engagement, drive the blade into your skin, and have an incredibly efficient razor. That versatility is sort of what makes the Dart, to me, one of the best razors of all time, and definitely one of our best razors. It has a 90 millimeter handle. This is kind of right in the sweet spot. For most people, that's kind of the average handle size, and it's just super comfortable in the hand. It's a mid-weight razor. It is a solid stainless steel construction, and it's kind of standard weight. It has a kind of balance. The balance is a little bit forward on the handle, and that makes it super maneuverable and comfortable. People overall just really like the way the razor looks and feels in hand. It has a similar Blackbird style handle almost, except it's actually reversed, where instead of grooves cut into the handle, it's actually those sort of like those grooves but popping out. And that gives really great grip, especially in the machined finish. So if you're really weird about your grip, as always, pick the machine finish. You're going to have slightly better textured surface. It's going to give you that grip you're looking for. If you're a shower shaver, or if you just like that razor glued to your hand, you're going to want the machined finish. The polish finish is stunning. Because of that curved top cap, we're able to get a beautiful polish on it. All those curved surfaces really lend themselves really well to polishing, as opposed to the angled surfaces in the Blackbird, which look great, but curved surfaces don't show defects as readily when they're polished, whereas flat surface shows the smallest imperfection. And so that creates just a really gorgeous effect on the dart. And it also means that the finish holds up a little better over time. At least it looks like it to you, because if it has a tiny little scuff, you're not going to notice on a curved surface because that light is just reflecting off in all directions. When it's flat, though, every little thing is going to drive you crazy. And it works with basically any blades. We recommend something kind of in the middle of the range. Like usual, we recommend Persona Lap Blues or like an Astra. You're going to really enjoy that blade. If you are wanting maximum efficiency, like usual, you want to go with something like the Feather. But honestly, this is just a razor that if you like something a bit more on the aggressive side of the spectrum, I guess, a bit more efficiency, I don't think you need to be afraid of it. If you don't like a super efficient razor, I don't think you need to worry that, oh, it's going to tear my face off. I think you need to focus on your angle, and you'll enjoy the razor pretty much no matter your experience level or your preferences, I think. We're also going to have a stand for the first time with the Dart, and we'll have more on this as we actually have all these parts, actually have the serial number. But I just wanted to make this video today to teach you a bit about the Dart, to tell you the history, tell you why we're bringing it back for this limited run this fall. And we'll have a lot more updates on this in the next couple weeks. Those are in production now. It might slip into November, but we're pushing hard to wrap them up in November and get this awesome razor back in your hands, because I want to give it the second shot it deserves. And I hope you guys love it the way I do, and the way I think it was really intended to be loved. But we learned a lot from this razor, and a lot of lessons learned kind of apply to the era and apply to all of our razors going forward. And I'm glad I had this experience. It's taught me a ton about launching a product. It's taught me a lot about dealing with trying to control the narrative around a product, because I think that's really what happened with the Dart. We lost control of the narrative and it slipped away. And when you lose that, it's hard to get it back. So, going forward, we try to be a lot more careful about how we've developed the product and how it's designed and how we test it. Two, how reviewers use it. That's very important. And three, how we give that information to people. Ultimately, like, if everyone misuses a razor and they don't get the results that they want out of it, that's our fault. We own that, and we need to make sure that you guys are informed. So now, when you order a razor from us, one, we have all these videos kind of teaching you how to use it, and two, when you order something, you get a super in-depth email about how to use it, about how you should, what blades to pick, what angle to use. We give tips for just kind of general new razor tips and specific tips to the design as well. And we didn't do that back then. So it's really made us better. And ultimately, the Dart, while technically not the biggest success, we made money. And more importantly, I am not afraid to take shots. We try shit, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But that's never going to stop me from trying new stuff. That's something that is deeply embedded into the ethos of Blackland. It's something that, teach our employees, is that, we just take shots. We keep shooting, and sometimes it hits and sometimes it doesn't. But that doesn't stop us from trying new things. And you're going to see that a lot over the coming months. So as always, like, subscribe. Let us know if you have any questions. Hope you will reach out to us if you're looking forward to the Dart. Shoot us an email, support@blacklinerazors.com. Comment, you know what to do, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.